Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Do Manchester United stand a chance against Chelsea? Well, it depends on how Manchester United approach the game. I think everybody is expecting Chelsea to win. Michael Carrick, of course, is in charge for today's game. It's his last game though in charge as the interim manager, because Manchester United are getting Ralph Rangnick. He said the other day that Manchester United reached an agreement with Lokomotiv Moscow for Ralph Rangnick to become the interim manager on a 6-month contract. And then after that, Ralph Rangnick will take a consultancy role for 2 years. Rangnick wants Amadou Haidara as his first signing as the Manchester United manager. Rangnick will be official next week. He's the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Before he managed Schalke, he won the German Cup with Schalke back in 2011. He got Schalke to the Champions League semi-finals. He managed RB Leipzig before, and he got them to the final back in 2019. He's been coaching for a very, very long time. I think Ralph Rangnick will improve Manchester United. Revert back to what I said on one of my recent videos. I think he will get the best out of these group of players. I like the way he develops young players. And I think he could be capable of winning trophies. Manchester United will look to get a permanent manager at the end of the season. We'll get either Mauricio Pochettino or we'll get Erik ten Hag. Manchester United are coming into this game against Chelsea on the back of a 2-0 win against Villarreal. It was Michael Carrick's first win as the interim manager. Reflecting on the win against Villarreal, Manchester United qualified for the last 16 of the Champions League with still one game to spare. I give Michael Carrick a lot of credit in that game against Villarreal because I like the way he approached the game. I thought his game plan was correct and his substitutions were correct. The goals against Villarreal came from Cristiano Ronaldo, and we saw Jadon Sancho score his first goal for the club. Manchester United lost the last league game to Watford 4-1. That's what ended Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure. Reflecting on the defeat to Watford, Man United have lost 5 of their last 7 in the Premier League. Man United are now sitting 9th in the Premier League, and if we lose today to Chelsea, we could go even lower. Manchester United have got some players missing. Obviously, there's no Harry Maguire. He's suspended. He's got a 3-match ban. He got sent off in the 4-1 defeat to Watford. There's no Raphael Varane. He's still out with a hamstring injury. He's out for another 2 to 3 weeks. There's no Paul Pogba. He's out with a thigh injury. he suffered a thigh injury in France training earlier on this season. Pogba is out for the rest of the year. Pogba may never play for the club again, because revert back to earlier on this season, it said Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in January. Luke Shaw, I'm not too sure if he's going to be involved today. He's recently been out with a concussion. He got the concussion in the 4-1 defeat to Watford. He didn't play any part in the 2-0 win against Villarreal. Telles started ahead of him. Edison Cavani, he's out with injury until December. He was out with injury earlier on this season. Cavani initially lost his place in the team anyway, with the club re-signing Ronaldo last summer. So they are Man United's injuries, and of course Mason Greenwood is not available. He's out with COVID. Manchester United seldom win at Stamford Bridge. We've got a very poor record at Stamford Bridge. We once went like 8 years without winning at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. This fixture last season at Stamford Bridge in the league was 0-0. And the game at Old Trafford was also 0-0 in the Premier League between Man United and Chelsea. Chelsea, they're doing really, really well so far this season. The top of the Premier League. They've only lost one game in the league so far this season. Chelsea are coming into this game on the back of a 4-0 win against Juventus in the Champions League group stage. Chelsea won their last league game against Leicester 3-0. Chelsea have got a very, very good manager in Thomas Tuchel. He's transformed Chelsea. Last season, Thomas Tuchel won the Champions League with Chelsea. He also got Chelsea to the FA Cup final last season, but Chelsea lost the FA Cup final to Leicester. Tuchel has been Chelsea manager for almost a year. He's got a contract with Chelsea until 2024. Before Chelsea, he was at PSG. Before PSG, he was at Borussia Dortmund, and before then, he was at Mainz 05. Before Tuchel, Chelsea had Frank Lampard. Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard last season. I think Frank Lampard was in charge of Chelsea for around 18 months. Frank Lampard wasn't good enough to be Chelsea manager. That's why Chelsea sacked him. Lampard, though, is a Chelsea legend. He's Chelsea's all-time leading goal scorer with like 211 goals. Didn't Lampard enjoy 13 years as a player for Chelsea? Before then, Chelsea had Maurizio Sarri. Chelsea sacked Maurizio Sarri after a season. Maurizio Sarri did win the Europa League when he was Chelsea manager. He also got Chelsea to the League Cup final. Before Sarri, Chelsea had Antonio Conte. Chelsea sacked Antonio Conte. Despite Antonio Conte winning the Premier League in his first season when he was Chelsea manager. Before then, Chelsea had Jose Mourinho. Obviously, Chelsea sacked him. Mourinho enjoyed 2 spells at Chelsea. He did well in his first spell because he won back-to-back Premier League titles, but he didn't do well in his second spell. And before, Chelsea have had Di Matteo. I think they also sacked him. At one point, they had Gus Hiddink. They sacked him. At one point, they had Rafa Benitez in as interim manager. I think Chelsea ended up sacking him. Before, they had Villas-Boas. Chelsea also sacked him. And a long time ago, they sacked Carlo Ancelotti. Ancelotti did win the Premier League and the FA Cup in his first season when he was Chelsea manager, but still got the sack. Chelsea have sacked a lot of managers in a short period of time. They must have sacked around 12 or 13 managers since Roman Abramovich bought the club. Chelsea now have got a decent squad. Obviously Chelsea have got Christian Pulisic. Chelsea got Christian Pulisic from Borussia Dortmund. I'm hearing that Liverpool want Christian Pulisic in January. Chelsea are demanding around £43 million. Chelsea have also got Kai Havertz. He's also very, very good as well. Chelsea got him from Bayer Leverkusen. Kai Havertz just come back from injury not so long ago. Chelsea have also got Romelu Lukaku. You've got to say he's made an impact since he's re-signed. Chelsea re-signed him last summer. I think Lukaku was out with injury not so long ago. If Lukaku plays in today's game, he'll be reuniting with Manchester United, because Lukaku is a former Man United player. You know, we had Lukaku for around 2 years and he did quite well. And to be honest with you, I think Man United made a mistake getting rid of him. We got Lukaku back in 2017 from Everton. You know, Man United got him in a deal worth 90 million. Man United paid like 75 million up front. Chelsea have also got Timo Werner. Now, I don't think he's done as well as a lot of Chelsea fans expected, but, you know, I think he has improved in recent weeks. You know, Chelsea got Timo Werner from RB Leipzig. I think he'll be in contention to play today. Chelsea have also got Callum Hudson-Odoi. You know, he's a good young player. They've got Mason Mount. I highly rate him. You know, he's got a lot of development in him. Chelsea have also got Ruben Loftus-Cheek. You know, he's a good young player. I highly rate that Reece James as well. Reece James is predominantly a right back. Chelsea have got Angola Kante. Now, I do highly rate him. He's one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. The good news is, from a Manchester United perspective, that Angola Kante is out with injury. Angola Kante has won the Premier League as a Chelsea player. He also won it when he was a Leicester player. Chelsea got Kante from Leicester. Chelsea have also got Jorginho. Chelsea got Jorginho, I think, from Napoli. To be honest with you, I don't highly rate Jorginho, but I think he has improved. Chelsea have also got Kovacic. He's another one that's out with injury, but I don't really rate him. Chelsea have also got that Christensen. I don't really rate him, to be honest with you. Chelsea have also got Saul Niguez. They got Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid last summer. Chelsea got him on loan. If you do remember rightly, Manchester United tried to get Saul Niguez. Chelsea have got Ben Chilwell. Ben Chilwell is out with injury until February, so that's more good news from a Man United perspective, because Ben Chilwell's a good left back. You know, Chelsea got him from Leicester. I've got to make an admission and say Chelsea have done very good business with Leicester in recent years. Chelsea have also got Marco Alonso, you know, another good left back. They've also got that Ziyech. They brought him in back in February 2020. They've got Rudiger, he's a very, very good centre-half. They've got Thiago Silva. They've also got Milan Sarr. They've got Azpilicueta as well. Chelsea's first choice goalkeeper is Mendy. The second choice is Kepa Arrizabalaga. And of course they've got that other goalkeeper, Bettinelli. They got him from Fulham last summer. So there you go. Chelsea have let players go, haven't they? I obviously can't remember all of the players that they've let go, but I know that they let Tammy Abraham go. Obviously, they did offload Willian. They offloaded David Luiz. Chelsea, of course, offloaded Danny Drinkwater. They offloaded Eden Hazard a few years ago as well. I think Chelsea made a big mistake getting rid of Eden Hazard. I think Chelsea should have kept him. Hazard was very good when he was at Chelsea. He was a long-serving player when he was at Chelsea as well. He enjoyed like 7 years with them. Hazard went to Real Madrid from Chelsea, and I think Hazard has been terrible at Real Madrid. As you all know, a few years ago, Chelsea had a transfer ban for tapping around minors. I think in the end they got that transfer ban overturned. But anyway, after Chelsea, Manchester United's next league game is Arsenal, and of course Ralph Rangnick will be in charge for the game against Arsenal. As you all know, last Sunday morning, Manchester United officially sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Don't forget, Solskjaer gave a farewell interview, and he got emotional in that farewell interview, which is obviously understandable because Solskjaer adores the club and he's been part of the club for a long, long time, hasn't he? He nearly lasted 3 years as the manager of Man United, and Solskjaer did enjoy 11 years as a player for Man United, so that's almost 14 years in total. Despite Solskjaer getting sacked last Sunday morning, Manchester United still adore Solskjaer, reflecting on what he's done for the club. And Solskjaer is a club legend, and he always will be a club legend. It did actually mention that on the statement when Solskjaer got officially sacked by Man United. But Man United made the right decision sacking Ole. It was quite obvious he could not take this team any further. I don't think Man United really wanted to sack him, but they had no choice in the end. Manchester United paid Solskjaer around $7.5 million because, revert back to the summer, he signed a 3-year contract with an option of a further year. And like I mentioned before, Manchester United should never give Solskjaer that contract, because I knew for a long time that he wasn't the long-term manager for Manchester United. The clubs Solskjaer has managed in his managerial career. Of course, he managed Man United's reserve team for a couple of years. He managed Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was terrible. He managed Molde. He enjoyed 2 spells at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles and that with them, but not a big club. And of course, he managed Manchester United's senior squad. So reflecting on that, Ole has not got a proven pedigree as a manager. Reflecting on the poor performances in the last few months or so under Solskjaer, Solskjaer was accountable for some things, his tactics and his team selections were questioned a lot, but not all of the blame stemmed from Solskjaer. There was also players that had to take responsibility for those poor performances as well. Solskjaer did not win a trophy when he was United manager, and I did say, didn't I, he was never capable of winning trophies as manager. Man United have not won a trophy since 2017. And I said at the start of this season that this season was always going to be big for Ollie. This season was his third full season, and the pressure was on Solskjaer at the start of this season, reflecting on the summer transfer window Manchester United had. Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year. Made 4 signings. 3 of the 4 signings were major signings, and Man United must have spent around £141 million. Plus, revert back to the summer, the board backed Solskjaer very well when he was United manager. The Glazers backed him, Ed Woodward backed him, John Murtiff, our director of football, backed him, and Darren Fletcher backed him. So, Ollie ran out of excuses. But the expectations were far too high for Ollie to exceed when he was United manager, and he was in a position that he shouldn't have really been in. Ollie knew when he'd taken over at United, that it was going to be a massive job, not only a massive job, a difficult job as well. Despite him knowing the club through thick and thin, because Ollie was managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. Solskjaer did get appointed in as the interim manager back in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. Ollie did well in his first 3 months as the interim manager, so reflecting on that, the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers now since Ferguson retired. Sacked Moyes, sacked Van Gaal, sacked Mourinho, and of course last Sunday morning sacked Solskjaer. Yesterday I gave you the news, didn't I, on Erik ten Hag from Ajax. It said that Erik ten Hag is said to be interested in the Manchester United job in the summer, and Ajax will not stand in his way if he wants to leave at the end of the season. Erik ten Hag is the alternative target for Man United if Man United cannot get Mauricio Pochettino. I presume there's a lot of United fans that would take Erik ten Hag. I like the way he develops young players. He's done a good job at Ajax. He's won a few trophies with them. He's been Ajax manager for 4 years. He's got a contract with Ajax until 2023. Before he was at Ajax, he was at Utrecht. Before then, he managed Bayern Munich's reserve team, and before then, he managed Go Ahead Eagles. Mauricio Pochettino, of course, the news on him. Pochettino has said he's happy at PSG and will not let the Man United rumours distract him. Not so long ago, it said PSG rejected Manchester United's approach to appoint Mauricio Pochettino. But not so long ago, it said Pochettino was interested in the Manchester United job. And the Manchester Evening News came out and said that Man United are confident of appointing Mauricio Pochettino as their next permanent manager. And it said Man United agreed to pay the $10 million compensation fee for Pochettino. We're likely to get Pochettino at the end of the season. Revert back to when Man United sacked Jose Mourinho. They should have got Pochettino then, but obviously the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. He's a good manager, Pochettino, even though he's hardly won anything. I think he has won a cup with PSG. Pochettino's got a full season left on his PSG contract. He is proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial, because he managed Tottenham before. And he guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final back in 2018. He almost won the Premier League when he was Tottenham manager as well. Analysing the vast majority of his 5.5 years at Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in the top four. Before Tottenham, he was at Southampton. He only enjoyed a short tenure with them, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far, and before he managed Espanyol. But anyway, let's see how this Ralf Rangnick does. I can't see him getting the job permanently, even if he does do well. But I heard from the Sun the other day that he could get the job on a permanent basis. But obviously, he's going to be taking a consultancy role, innit? So anyway, guys, I'll be on for the match reaction later on. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.